It's not just a matchup between two of the three top teams in the East. It's also a matchup of two first-ballot Hall of Famers who, just happen to be best friends. And as Dwyane Wade told our Pablo Torre earlier this year, LeBron James knows more about him than even Dwyane's wife, Gabrielle Union, does. In fact, when they all go out to dinner together, LeBron is allowed to order for Dwyane, but Gabby is not. This friendship goes back to 2003 when the two players met randomly while sitting in a training room at a pre-draft camp just 3 miles up the road from where we're sitting now. So talk about full circle here. And it's flourished through LeBron being in Cleveland, of course, then LeBron joining Dwyane in Miami, then LeBron going back to Cleveland, and then Dwyane coming to Chicago. And along the way, there have been titles, there have been tears, there have been, banana boats. And while it has bothered some folks over the years to see these two hanging out together, even training together at times during the season, they've always been very upfront about how they feel. Their time in this game is temporary. The names on the fronts of their jerseys, temporary. The friendship? Well, that's for life. That is, in the end, what they are loyal to. When Dwyane was struggling to adjust to being a single dad with full custody of his two older sons, it was LeBron who was there for him, showing up at his house, going to his son's basketball games. When LeBron watched people in his hometown burn his jersey, it was Wade who talked him through it. So it wasn't a surprise when Dwyane was very honest yesterday about what tonight's matchup means to him. Quote, he said, "I won't be one of those cliche athletes to say it's just another game." He said, "I just enjoy it more. Simple as that. Great people bring out greatness out of you. LeBron has always done that for me," Dwyane said, and vice versa. "I think I've done it for him." Now, guys, also yesterday, Wade noted that when LeBron came to Miami, it was he, Dwyane, who had to change his game so much. Even though just the season before he had won the scoring title and he was the one with the NBA ring, and yet he had to adjust the most. How do you think, when you see this back and forth with them over all the years, they will have affected each other's legacies down the road?
Tracy, I don't know if it really affects legacy. That's a dangerous word, legacy.
Right.
But here's what I know. These guys, no matter what they have pictures at each other's weddings.
Yeah.
They guys have 2 rings together, right? And I mean, legacy, Hall of Fame, whatever, those 2 rings mean more than anything you could ever say.
I appreciate, though, as these guys' relationship continues to grow, they're like brothers. But what I appreciate as a basketball player and as a fan, that although they're really close, when they get in between these lines, they compete their butts off.
Well, who do you compete the most with? Your brother, right? Anyone who has a sibling relationship knows that that's the person.
Yeah, but sometimes you show some favoritism to your boy, and there's a lot of fraternizing going on between the two. That's not the case with these guys. They're trying to tear each other's head off.
I gotta say, out of everything I've seen in the NBA in the last 10 years, their relationship is, I've studied it, it's very strange. These guys broke up.
Unique.
Well, okay, so not only did, when LeBron left Miami, not only did it hurt Dwyane professionally, he went from a championship contender to basically a rebuilding team. It cost him a lot of money. The way that all went down, Dwyane ended up taking a $5 million pay cut. Who knows? He might have signed another max contract if LeBron stayed. He might be there now. If you cost me $5 million, if you cost me $50, I would be happy. I certainly wouldn't go to your wedding in 3 weeks, as what he did. And here's the other thing, Rachel. Sports Illustrated knew that LeBron was coming to Cleveland before Dwyane did. If you were my best friend,
right,
would you not? And you were on my team,
right?
Would I not tell you? And that,
Lee Jenkins knows everything. We got
obviously. So I've asked him about it. I've asked Dwyane about this. I've asked LeBron about this. I've asked LeBron's reps. They just said, "Listen, we couldn't put Dwyane in that position."
But don't you think it's about the way that breakup happened? First of all, they do have this almost lifetime of friendship to build on, and so when you break up professionally, they knew that they weren't breaking up personally. But also the fact that they did ride on that airplane together back from Las Vegas to Miami. They did have a long heart-to-heart about it. If you compare that to, say, the Kevin Durant breakup with Russell Westbrook, where he didn't even pick up the phone to call Russ, right? That you have to think the way that breakup happened had an impact on what we're seeing play out now between Kevin and Russ and all of the back and forth and everything. I think it's the way you deliver the news. If you call someone and you talk to them man to man and you say, "This is how I feel and this is how I got to move on," you would respect that from a teammate.
In a relationship was, the most important thing. Communication is the key. My wife tells me that all the time. So with those guys, I'm sure there was open line of communication, and they talked things out. LeBron, told D-Wade what he was thinking about doing. I mean, you have to respect that and be receptive of his decision. That wasn't the case with Kevin Durant and Russ Westbrook.
However LeBron and Dwyane handled it, it must have worked because they've never been closer. I feel like they're closer now than they were when they played on the Heat together. I mean, there were a lot of nights, Rachel, especially the first couple of seasons in Miami,
the first
when
season.
they walked out of that locker room, there was cross eyes.
Right.
And now the two of them can't wait to see each other despite the breakup. So, however they handled it, they should write a book.
It's the perfect relationship now because they've been through all those tough times together. They've had that bonding experience, but they are not dealing with he passed me the ball, he didn't give me the ball, he did that. They don't have to deal with that anymore. They just get to be friends, which is pretty great. And, when you do talk about legacies, I think they will leave a legacy in the NBA, not just the 2 rings that they helped each other earn, but this idea of guys playing together, kind of taking some ownership of their free agency. I think before, a lot of guys would just sort of look at it singularly and say, which is the best team for me, which is the best team for me. They made this plan together.
Yes. Forming super teams and a guy like D-Wade being able to defer to somebody else coming to his team where he clearly has made a name for himself and been there for some years.
They also started an era in the NBA of superstar free agency. Now, I know you were ahead of the curve back in 2000, whatever it was.
It didn't happen.
But ever since
almost the Grant Hill being healthy.
LeBron came to Miami, I mean, this era of 2010, and we're in the dash right now, who knows when it'll end.
Right.
We see major free agents change teams every year. LeBron and Dwyane started that and have been a part of it, perpetuating.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, this is going to be, as you said, Tracy, a hard-fought game tonight. It's the second night of a back-to-back for the Cavs, and they got some avenging to do because this two games in 2 nights did not start out well for them. They got blown out at home at the hands of the LA Clippers. LeBron just had 16 points. He had 5 turnovers. The whole team, right, looked at a sink. They just had a hard time keeping up with the Clips' energy. It was Cleveland's second straight loss. They also lost to Milwaukee, and Ty Lue pulled the starters with 7 minutes to go. How big a deal, Tracy, is that loss last night to you?
I don't think it's a big deal at all. I think this is more about the Clippers coming in there and getting a victory, losing 3 straight games. I think, Doc's team got the message of, his ballistic outburst that he had in Brooklyn. I'm not worried about the Cavs at all. They're in the Eastern Conference. They're clearly the best team in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, they would like to play better coming off a loss in Milwaukee. It didn't happen. They got a chance to redeem themselves tonight here in Chicago.
There was a lot of anomalies in that game last night. Blake Griffin had a career high in assists, 11 assists. Kevin Love, he had 9 rebounds in the first quarter on Tuesday. He didn't even have a rebound till the third quarter last night. So it wasn't like something you're going to see over and over.
Right.
To me, let's see how the Cavs play tonight. This is the first real challenge they've had this season. They've been going along a little merry-go-round. Now it's time for them to show that they can rebound.
Is this, though, a measuring stick? Because, look, we always say, hey, the Cavs are the class of the Eastern Conference. You have this Western Conference team that comes in here that a lot of people think will end up in the Western Conference Finals, could even threaten the Golden State Warriors. I would think that is a game that would be marked on the calendar, and they weren't playing with the energy that looked like it.
I don't know if it was a measuring stick for the Bulls tonight against the Cavs.
That's more of it.
They're not. I don't think they're playing their best basketball right now, so I can't consider that being a measuring stick.
Look, it's a national TV game, okay? We got Countdown coming from here tonight. We got special guys wearing special uniforms to the game. We'll talk about it later on. It's a big game. So let's see them deliver in a big game. I know it's just December, but play like the champs.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to ask you about the other side of that big game is the Bulls, right? And because the Bulls do see themselves as a competitor to the Cavs in the East. I know a lot of people just give the Cavaliers the Eastern Conference. The Bulls think they have a team here that could challenge. And look, LeBron has almost been felled by this Bulls team, whether he's been with the Heat or been with the Cavs at several times. There was a point we were in this building, you and me, Brian, where one David Blatt timeout that didn't happen, where he scratched the shot that he took. If that shot hadn't gone in, I mean, look, yes, these are different teams, but this has been a thorn in LeBron's side on and off, and he's been able to brush it off. But I think the Bulls feel they would like to prove something tonight, right?
Yeah, look, I don't think the Bulls realistically believe they can win the East. I mean, if Jimmy Butler was sitting here and Dwyane was sitting here, maybe they would say differently. They'd be punching me. But this could be a playoff series.
Right.
The Bulls were sort of a team we didn't know what we were going to get at the beginning of the season. They look like a bona fide team. these guys could end up seeing each other in a 7-game series in May. So you start to set the tone right now. And if you're the Bulls, you're catching the Cavs off a bad loss. You've got the rest advantage. You're going to be mostly healthy. Doug McDermott's not back, but Dwyane is here. Jimmy Butler's here.
Look,
hit them.
Maybe they come in here and, catch a tired Cavs team and they win this game tonight. Let's talk about the overall picture.
Yes.
I don't see them being a threat to the Cavs at all. I just don't think they have the personnel coming off their bench to help them, withstand, beating the Cavs in the 7-game series. I don't see that.
I agree, but if you're Jimmy Butler, you're Dwyane Wade, you want to send a message. I don't care if it's December 1st, May 1st, June 1st, September 15th.
Are you really sending a message to LeBron James, who's, clearly the best player in our league that a lot of people try to send messages to? I mean, you're
I
not
think it's more
getting
about sending a message to your own team, right?
That's
so
what it's about.
if they
Yeah.
can win tonight, I'm not sure that LeBron is going to lose sleep if
Right.
the Bulls win
Yeah.
tonight, but I do think that it will matter to Dwyane. It will matter to Jimmy. It will matter to the
other
message that
guys
Dwyane
on
is
the
trying
team.
to tell those other younger guys on the
Agreed.
team of like, hey, have a little confidence here. We beat, if they do, we beat the
Agreed.
Cavaliers, and look what we can do now for the rest of the
Yes.
season. So
Plus, the Cavs are staying in town tonight. Somebody's got to buy dinner after the game.
that's true.
That is
Speaking of bets or things that might happen between players on either side of this matchup, before we leave tonight's game, of course we have to talk about baseball, right? That's what you would always talk about on a basketball show. You may remember that LeBron James,
Oh, I remember.
a little out front there supporting the Indians during the World Series, a little hometown support there. And Wade, of course, he was the Cleveland or nothing, and there was a lot of shaking of fists. Wade, of course, longtime supporter of his hometown Chicago Cubs. They made a bet during the World Series, and of course, Chicago won, so LeBron has to pay that off by wearing a full Cubs uniform to the arena tonight. Take a look here.
Mr. James, let's talk. I got some ideas for you. Congratulations, Cub.
I like that little claymation imagining of what this is like. Do you see Bill Murray in the car there? That was from Uninterrupted. That was very good. That was very nice. I mean, well, LeBron said he was going to wear the full uni
I
tonight.
can't wait to see this.
No cleats, but he said down to the socks he was going to wear everything, and it's going to be tailored, right?
This will be the most expensive Cubs uniform ever produced that LeBron will wear tonight.
The most anticipating watch for ESPN.
Right? I think we're going to have live uniform cam people, so just
Angles
tune in, because as that bus comes in, we will definitely see it. I think this is so much fun. I love that these guys did this. I love that they're playing into it with the claymation. So I just love that they're leaning in. This is why people love the NBA, right? Is this personal stuff that seems to go on between guys. And we were talking at the top of the show about their friendship.
Yeah.
But you get this
Yeah,
kind
you
of
see
stuff.
the fun side of these guys. Although they're great competitors, but to see this fun side with a friendly bet.
Also, let's see what Dwyane brings to the fashion table tonight, too. Something tells me Dwayne's been planning for tonight as well. He doesn't take any half measures either.
Right. Do you guys think, have any other people in Chicago who play basketball worn a baseball uniform before? I can't remember. Wait. Oh, yes. Oh, there they are. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Fair ball.
He wore the cleats, though, so. There, we got to go there. I think people are happy that Michael took that uniform off. And
Yeah,
I think
there's a couple
people in
banners
Cleveland.
above our head.
Exactly. I think
He
people in
actually
Cleveland will be
played well.
happy when LeBron takes his uniform off
He
today.
played well.
You're a baseball
You're a
player.
baseball guy, too.
Fair ball.
Yeah.
Tracy
Had a little something.
pitched, and your whole life could have been different, Tracy.
I know.
You'd be sitting on Baseball Tonight set instead of our set.
I still could be playing baseball right now. Please.